But of course, he must support Israel because of what Israel does, of course. Israel needs American support, and yet Israel is the only country who's ever really openly attacked the United States. If you really want to look at it, I mean, you can look at Pearl Harbor, but that was all contrived anyway. And if you really want to sum up America's support for Israel, that's really America's support for Israel. But like I said, of course, they need America's support because it's such a hard done-by country, and it's got to stand up against Gaza Strip. And it's not an apartheid state at all, of course. It's not an apartheid state that's going to work if you live in Palestine. But of course, you have to treat the Palestinians like that because if you're born in Gaza, you're a terrorist. But it's just a joke, folks. And this is what Trump is supporting. This is what all of our governments are supporting. This is what your government is supporting as well. They've got to bring Israel into this, folks. I really do, because I'm a strong supporter of the Palestinian issue. And actually, last year when I did this conference, the conference was on Al-Nakba, which was the day of freedom, the day of the great catastrophe that happened in Palestine, the day when freedom was lost for the Palestinian people. But we're all told the Palestinian people are terrorists and they all are trained to hate Israel, and that's why we must support Israel. And when you look at Israeli children, this is the way the Israeli children are trained to think, you know. But what's happening is that all governments are supporting this, and they're actually passing laws to support it. I was just in Canada, and this is what came in while I was in Canada. They're doing all this now. And why are they doing it? They're doing it because there may be some issues with some of this information that we may not talk about here, but I'll just put that slide up there. That's by David Dees. But what's going on there, folks, is atrocious. The whole thing has been built on blood, and this is who is running the whole war on terror. So none of this is being addressed. And people are waking up to it. They're waking up to the fact that what's going on in the Middle East with the war on terror is a war for greater Israel. So what does Trump do? He postures against Syria and goes bombing a foreign country. And when everyone starts crying out war crime about it, because how was the last time when Obama was going to go and bomb them, there was that gas attack, and we didn't even have time to investigate this one. Trump suddenly goes in and bombs them. We don't even have time to investigate whether it's a false flag or not, although, I mean, we know it is. But we didn't even give time. There wasn't even any time for international outrage and international outcry to stop him. He just went and did it. And everyone started screaming out war crime. What do we get? We get the threat of a nuclear war. That's always a good card to play. Who actually thinks we're going to have a nuclear war with North Korea, folks? Does anyone think that's a threat? I was just in the United States. Everybody in the United States thinks that they're about to go to war with North Korea. I was in LA. The shopkeepers are freaking out. Oh my God, we're a target. Hollywood's here. They want to bomb us. It's unbelievable. They really think Kim Jong-un is going to attack the United States. It's a joke. He's not going to attack the United States. And while everyone's freaking out about it, Trump goes and puts troops on the ground in Syria. You know, tanks rolling into Syria, all of this sort of stuff. And all of this stuff's going on. We try to wake the world up. We try to talk to the world about it, but they're just too busy doing other things. The kids are just too busy doing other things. And that's the problem. This is the problem, the cell phones. Of course, they do get away from the cell phones now and then, and they go out to play now and then. They don't get out very fast. Sometimes they even go out and take their pets for a walk. It's a good thing as well. But what's going to happen, folks, is one day they're going to look up from these cell phones and they're going to realise that the world is not the way it used to be, and it's not the way they thought it was. Because this is all part of this big surveillance system that is coming online, and it's coming online very, very fast. And all we're getting from these people is posturing against this and all of this theatre from these guys. All the wars are just continued all the time. And we need to really step back and look at it, because so much of it has been a play. And even with what I do, when I've looked at all of this stuff, so many of the issues that I've looked at, even talking about Greater Israel, all of these things, why does this continue? Why does the Palestinian issue continue? I mean, we know the wars are meant to be continuous, like George Orwell said. War is not meant to be won, it's meant to be continuous. But why? What's the point? It's not just about the money, it's not just about depopulation. What's it really about? You know, why are the wars continuous all the time? What is all of this stuff about? And why, no matter what we do, doesn't it stop? You know, where is the path with the heart? Why can't we find it? That's the question. So we look deeper into some of these wars and we look what's going on. We find that a lot of it is about organ harvesting, organ trafficking. 15,000 kids have had their organs harvested in Syria. Why do they do all this in Middle Eastern countries? Why are the wars in Middle Eastern countries all the time? Good source of organs. They don't drink. They don't drink alcohol. They don't smoke cigarettes. Good source of clean organs, folks. Really good, healthy people in the Middle East. Most of them are vegetarian. We don't give them enough food to be anything else. But a lot of this goes on, folks. This is a Syrian kid found in a dumpster in Turkey, harvested by Israelis probably. Goes on in Malaysia and goes on everywhere. I'm sure a lot of this was covered in the Pizzagate talk. I missed that talk, unfortunately, I was asleep. Did they tell you what a human body was worth in that talk? Why this actually goes on? You know, when you go into a war zone, I'll get that picture off the screen. When you go into a war zone, and you think about it, you go into a war zone, you're going to kill all these people. Why kill them if they're a resource? Why kill all the people, especially if they're Arabs? Hey, they're terrorists anyway. They're going to grow up to be terrorists, so it doesn't matter what we do to them. They're all just black-jacketed anyway, because that's what we do. We black-jacket a whole race, a whole species, whatever. We're doing it to the North Koreans now. What are we going to do to that country? You know, what we've done to all these Muslim countries, we just black-jacket them, say, oh, Muslims are doing this and Muslims are doing that. You see a gang of Arab rapists in Europe, they're Muslim rapists. Well, by that logic, if you see a gang of white rapists, they should be Christian rapists, shouldn't they? Isn't that the logic that we're using here? Why is it if you've got dark skin, suddenly you're a Muslim? If you come from the Middle East, you're a Muslim. If you're out raping women, I'd say you don't belong to any religion. I'd say you don't practice your faith at all, you're just an arsehole. You know, there's no reason to categorize these as Muslims. You know, it's not about that. But we black jacket the whole race by that. Doesn't matter what we do to them, they're just Muslims. But you go into a place, like if you're going to go into any country, any village, you're going to go in there and just, what are you going to just kill all these people? Each human body is worth a lot of money. A lot of money. You look at this, your kidneys, depending on the country that you're in, 15,000, 62,000, 262,000 in the United States for your kidneys. I could take any one of you out of the room. I could get all of this money out. I can get $115,000 for your heart. I can get $400 for your forearm. I can get $2,000 for your cornea. I can get $23,000 a gram for your bone marrow 2 weeks after you're dead. How's that? And if I add the whole lot up together and sell it on the market at top price, I can get $43 million for every person in the room here. Why am I going to just kill you people and burn you? Well, I can harvest all your organs and sell them to rich people in Beverly Hills. That's what they're doing, folks. They're funneling a lot of these people out through Haiti. This has all been exposed by the Clinton emails. You can look at the research of George Webb. He's done some great research, but George also leads you astray because George is a Zionist, and he makes sure he points direction right away from Israel all the time. And the whole surveillance system that is going ahead as well, Israel is heavily involved in that as well. But this is a lot of what is going on in the war zones. This is a lot of why these wars never stop, because they're a great source of human organs. And so really, when you look at the Trump presidency, he's just full of shit, and he's dragging the whole world down with him, the way all of his predecessors have done. But you look at all of this stuff, folks, and you've got to ask, like I said, why is it going on? Why are we lost continuously battling against these wars, against the fracking, against all this stuff? What's the fracking really for? It's not for harvesting gas. It's destroying groundwater. Why are they destroying groundwater? Depopulation, control. But why would they do that? You think, why would they do that? These people need water. But how many people are going to be here? How many people are going to need water? That's the question. How many people are going to be left on the earth? And what's going on in the background while all this is going on? Well, it's like Graham said yesterday, and 10 points to Graham's talk, Graham Downing's talk, Dr. Graham Downing. It actually confirms a lot of the stuff that I've been researching as well, because what's going on in the background is transhumanism. And transhumanism is a real problem. It really is. All these people out there selling it as something great, Elon Musk, all this this is rubbish. It's not good at all. Like Graham said, the AI control that is coming, and the way these machines can think for themselves and talk amongst each other in a language that we cannot understand. This is not a sane thing to be giving the reins of society to. And how it's happening, how it's encroaching into our society is through the guise of convenience and linking all of these things up together. You know, it's smart this and smart that. It's a lot better to have all your computer and your phone and your game and all this stuff and your TV, everything all linked together, because it's all really convenient for you. It's all there, convenient, just there in your hand. And eventually it'll become the glasses, Google Glass. But that's how they've done it, by just creating all this convenience, all these conveniences in our lives, and computers that can talk to you, which means computers that are listening to you all the time. Has anyone seen the movie Snowden? Anyone watched that movie? It was a very, very good movie. I didn't particularly like the way it glorified Edward Snowden at the end of it, but the way it showed how the surveillance system works was actually quite profound. They can put in 2 or 3 words, 2 or 3 keywords. They can say, you, let's look at you. We need to get some dirt on you. So we'll look at your sisters and their relations and their cousins and their this. And oh, look, who's this guy down here? Here's this guy. He's a drug dealer and he's related to this and this and this by connection to you. We'll just switch on his computer. 3 keywords, switch on his computer, switch on his microphone, switch on his camera, switch on his camera and his microphone on his telephone. Doesn't even matter if the computer is switched off or if the phone is switched off. All in is 3 keywords. And they can do it in real time, anybody that's connected. They can do that through Facebook accounts and all this sort of stuff. Just track everybody who's connected to who, access all the accounts, 3 keywords, bang, the camera and the microphone is on. And that's why all the new phones that you're buying now, you notice you can't take the battery out of the new phones that you're buying now? Because that used to be a way around it, take the battery out of your phone. If you want to have a private conversation in your house, the only way to do it is to put your phone in the refrigerator or in the microwave. That's the only way to have a private conversation in your house. And when you have 3 of the phones in your house, they can actually triangulate your house and all sorts of stuff. So this is where they're going with this surveillance technology. And these computers that talk to you all the time.